The rain came down hard that night, washing the city in silver and sorrow. Cars hissed past puddles, streetlights shimmered against wet asphalt, and somewhere between the glow of neon signs and the hum of midnight traffic sat a girl. She was wrapped in a torn blanket, her hair matted with dust, her trembling hands holding a cardboard sign that read, "I'm not asking for money, just a chance." A passing businessman stopped, his leather shoes gleaming under the rain. He looked down at her with unreadable eyes, the kind that could see beyond the surface. His name was Adrian Holt, a billionaire CEO known for his cold logic, sharp mind, and an empire built from nothing but relentless ambition. But tonight, something about this girl caught him off guard. A flicker of courage in her eyes, a stubborn dignity in the way she refused to beg. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. She looked up, startled by the kindness in his tone. "Lena." That single word carried the weight of sleepless nights, lost dreams, and silent prayers. Before we continue, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness, because stories like this remind us that hope can still change lives. Adrian stood there for a moment longer, glancing at the black credit card in his hand, a card that could buy nearly anything on earth. Then, without another word, he handed it to her. "Take this," he said simply. "Buy whatever you need. No limits." Lena stared at the card as if it were a piece of forbidden magic. "Is this a joke?" she whispered, her voice shaking. Adrian's expression didn't change. "Let's call it a test." Before she could respond, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the night. Lena clutched the card in disbelief. Her first thought was that it couldn't be real. People didn't just hand out things like this, not to someone like her. But something inside urged her to try. She walked into a 24-hour convenience store, heart pounding, and picked up a sandwich, a bottle of water, and a small pack of socks. At the counter, the cashier eyed her suspiciously. "That's a fancy card," he said. "It's not mine," she admitted softly, "just trying to see if it works." When the transaction went through, Lena almost cried. She whispered a thank you to the universe and walked back into the rain, carrying food and warmth instead of diamonds and perfume. The next morning, Adrian sat in his office high above the skyline, his assistant Mara reading through reports. "You really gave your personal black card to a homeless girl?" she asked, incredulous. "I wanted to see something," he replied calmly. "People reveal who they are when no one's watching." He had done this before, tested partners, employees, even friends, but none had made him curious like Lena. Something about her eyes haunted him all night. Later that day, he tracked the purchases made with the card 2.47. That was it. But then there was another transaction, 3.25 at a coffee shop. Adrian frowned. She used it again. He checked the store camera. Lena had bought a coffee and a muffin, not for herself, but for another homeless man asleep outside. That moment hit him harder than he expected. Lena spent the next 2 days trying to return the card. She went back to the same corner, waiting for the mysterious man to appear. But he didn't. When she couldn't find him, she decided to leave a note at the coffee shop. "Troy, I didn't want to take what wasn't mine. I only bought what I needed and helped someone who needed it more. Thank you for trusting me, even when the world doesn't." Adrian read that note hours later when he stopped by. He stood there in silence, the paper trembling slightly in his hand. For the first time in years, the ruthless CEO felt something break inside him: guilt, wonder, respect. He asked the barista where Lena had gone. The answer chilled him. "She helps out at the shelter now. Said she wants to earn her own way." The next evening, Adrian visited the shelter. He watched quietly from the doorway as Lena served soup, her smile lighting up the room despite her tired eyes. She noticed him almost instantly. "You found me," she said, a shy laugh escaping her lips. "I did," he said softly. "And you passed." "Passed what?" "My test," he replied, walking closer. "I wanted to know what someone would do if they had unlimited power, unlimited money, for one night." Lena frowned. "That wasn't power," she said. "That was trust. And I couldn't betray that." Her words cut through him like truth always does. Adrian reached into his coat and handed her an envelope. Inside was a key and a letter. "Troy, this is your chance, apartment 17B, fully paid for a year." Also enclosed an offer letter. "My company has a new department called Second Chance Initiatives. It's for people like you. People who don't give up." Lena stared at him in shock. "Why me?" Adrian smiled faintly. "Because once upon a time I was you." She took the job. Weeks turned into months, and the girl once invisible to the world now led a small team at Holt Industries, helping others find work, housing, and dignity. Her story spread quietly through the city, how a homeless girl passed a billionaire's test and changed his heart in return. Adrian, once known for his cold decisions, began to transform his empire from profit to purpose. And whenever he was asked what inspired it, he'd say only two words: a chance. As if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Every story you support helps us spread more light in the world. Months later, on a rainy evening much like the one they first met, Adrian visited the same street corner. This time it was Lena standing under an umbrella, offering food and blankets to those in need. When she noticed him, she smiled. "Testing someone new tonight?" He chuckled softly. "No, Lena, I'm just here to learn." The rain fell gently, washing the world clean once more, and for a moment, the city seemed to pause, to witness two souls who'd found hope not in wealth or pity, but in kindness freely given. Because sometimes, the smallest act of trust can awaken the biggest change.